Hello crafters, welcome to Elf Creations. Today we're going to be doing the first card in a series I'm calling the Woodland Christmas card series. Now about once a month I'm going to do a card using this stamp set and throughout the year. So I'm hoping by the time Christmas arrives of 2017 I will have 11 cards made with this stamp set. I'll also be doing another series similarly, but it will be called the Winter Wonderland Christmas card series, and I'll be using this stamp set here. So this is the first one, and I absolutely love the images on this card, on this stamp set. Absolutely love the images. So I'm going to be making a 6x6 stamp set. So this is the card we're going to be making today. So I've got my card base here. I just need to score it. So I'm just going to score it using my Martha Stewart scoreboard and a new scoring, which I seem to be sliding out of the score line. There we go, that's better. Right, so it's going to be a 6x6 card. Now you can obviously do the inlays or the inserts to the desired size that you choose. I'm just going to put mine on top so you can see that I've got about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and then about the same on this white insert. So I'm going to round my corners because I want rounded corners on this particular card. I just think because it's got the wreath on the front, the rounded corners seem to suit it. So I'm just going to round all my corners. I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers crocodile. And we will be working predominantly on this card stock here. So I'm going to put the card base and the inserts to one side. I'm going to use one of my dies to create a circle. Now this is my largest circle die. I'll give you the measurement in a second. Now this particular die measures 4 inches. So using my die and a pencil very lightly. Now by the time you have stamped your image, you don't really see this pencil mark, but I'm going to do it very lightly around the outside of this die, and that will help me with the wreath shape. So just very lightly. You can, if you wish, rub it out, but once you've stamped all the multiple images that we are going to stamp, you really don't see it, but that's entirely your choice if you decide to rub it out. So the images I'm going to use in this are the branch here. I'll be using this cluster of berries, I will be using the pine cone, and I will be using a sentiment. I will be using distress inks, I will be using red fired red brick, vintage photo, shabby shutters, and frosted moss. Frosted moss? Forest moss. Frosted moss. Wake up, Gareth. Right, I've got my round stamp block. I'm going to ink up my image, and using the circle that we have on the card, I'm going to use that as I suppose, what would you call it? It's just as a guideline really, where I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to overlay my stamps just to get this nice and thick. Oops, crumbs. I just dropped my stamp. Right, I'm going to make that work for me, so I'm not going to worry about it. Please take care when you're doing yours, but I've just filled it out at the bottom there by stamping the other side so they mirror each other, so it doesn't necessarily look like a mistake. Okay, so that's the forest moss. Now using the same stamp, I'm going to shabby shutters and I'm going to overlay in between the images. Again, this is just to build up the layers and the texture and the depth in the image. Right, that's it for that one. Right, now I need a small stamp block, so I'm going to use my 1 by 1 inch, and I'm going to be using the berry cluster. So that is just here, and I'm going to be using my fired brick, and I'm just going to put some berries willy-nilly, as I like to say, throughout the wreath. And there's no specificness. You could even put some off the page if you choose to. You can be as elaborate or as precise as you wish. And then the last one I'm going to use will be the pine cone, and for that I am going to use vintage photo. Let's bring over the vintage photo, and I'm going to stamp this all over the image, and I'm going to turn the stamp so it looks like they're going in different directions. Move some out so you can see them better. It's just layered upon layers of imagery. Okay, going back to the fired brick, I'm going to use the sentiment "Wishing you the best Christmas ever." And I'm going to stamp that directly in the middle of the wreath. Okay. So it's a really kind of vintage looking card, which I absolutely love. Now, using a new tool that I was gifted by a lovely friend and subscriber, I have this We Are Memory Keepers. I'm not sure what I don't know what the exact name is, but it has a smaller hole. Now, I love my hole punch that I've got, but this particular one, it produces a smaller hole. So I'm going to see how small the hole is, and I think it's perfect for brads or split pins, because I think the other one, sometimes the holes are too big, where this one has a perfect size hole. So bring over my brads, my split pins. I'm going to try and find some nice brass ones, but if I don't find brass ones, it's no biggie, I can always put in another colour. Okay, and we're going to pop those in the holes, and like I said, with that particular We Are Memory Keepers punch, it's the perfect size hole. Now, what I also like to do is, because this has so many layers of ink, I'm going to blast it with my heat tool, just so I don't smudge any of the multiple stamping. Like I said at the beginning, once you've got all the stamping on there, you don't see the pencil line, so I'm not worried about rubbing it out or trying to find it and then rub it out, because I'll end up just causing more damage. So I'm going to put the green insert on the card base. Leaving myself a nice little border all the way around. and the same goes for this. Now I think I'm going to put this on some foam tape. So using some of the foam tape which is available from G's Embellishment Emporium, I'm just going to put 4 pieces, and that's one on each corner. And we'll stick it on the card base. And there we have it, a really simple card, and it's just the multitude of stamp layering technique, and I love it. I think it has a really rustic and vintage look to it. I really love it. And if you want to, you could go around the edges with vintage photo just to make your paper look vintage, but as the image looks really vintage to me, I really wanted the white to make it pop. And even though I made that boo-boo, you really don't see that it was not meant to be that way. You could add a bow if you wanted, but for me, this is kind of the rustic vintage look that I was going for, and I think a bow would make it maybe more modern. But I really love this card, and this is definitely one I'm going to make a few of. But by the time I get to Christmas, if I make one prototype and one show you on video, I'll have 22 cards I can send, and probably to you guys out there too. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you very soon with another Christmas craft. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing Christmas videos all year round, and I'm really looking forward to what 2017 holds for this new channel. Thank you for joining me. Take care now. Bye bye.